Welcome back to Motorsport Manager, everybody. Time for the 9th race. Back to Tondela for the second time in our 2018 season. Third season of the Create Your Own Team Challenge. And as we covered at the end of the last one, we are in a bit of a dogfight. The total amount of points you can get per race is 47. That'd be 25 points for first, 18 for second, 2 for the pole, and 2 for the fastest lap. They don't have double points for the last race. And so we can see that there's 4 teams within one race of the lead, and W Racing just over that. So really all top 5 teams have to feel they have some sort of chance at this, although it still is us and AMG near the top, but Ivan Muller and Comtoyo have been coming on. And sort of in a bit of self-criticism, looking back at the last race, obviously couldn't do anything about Hughes crashing. We would have done much better without that. But at the same time, with the qualifying screw-up and not getting a time, I just got overconfident. My mind was on autopilot. And going back to our first couple of years, it's only been recently, fairly recently, that it's even mattered that much with qualifying, because we were going to start near the back and stay near the back. Much more important now, obviously, to start up closer to the front, get all the positions that we can early in the race. So I just need to stay more focused on that and make precise calculations about how much time I've got to do my start and stops and whether I can afford to do that. So I'm really going to try to be paying more attention to detail over the last 4 races of this year and make sure that we get that promotion. We could have another crash. We could have another race like we had a while back when Auer just went the whole thing for AMG on one set of tires, and we really didn't have a chance at that. So we've got to make sure that we don't lose any more points than we have to from here on out. And another 12 hours, no surprise there. Canal Plus, Laurent Dupin. Suri had a bit of a disaster, and I'm just going to say they were unlucky. And Suri's like, hey, now I'll talk to you. Gonna ignore that for now. And our first pit stop under 6 seconds. We were mistake-free, so the pit crew did very well. Nobody else did, but the pit crew did. Scouting continues. Just make sure we still have plenty of people on that list. Yeah, we do for now. We're working our way through the DTM drivers. Okay, are we going to get more people in on the tires? That's the big question here. We've got 17 and 16 on the front jack and the rear jack, really. But I think that I could use another person. Luxton, I'd like another rear jack person because Fedeschi's doing double duty, if I can manage it. But then we definitely want tire people here. And DeFonte's still burnt out. Hopefully he's going to get over that eventually. If he doesn't, I'll just dump him. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to hire... I'm not going to take... Well, I might take you as tires. I'm going to hire Vidal Miguez as our new backup on the rear jack, so that we're going to be totally set on that. But then we're going to hire some more for sure. We're definitely going to pull in Locklear. Going to really help us on the front. And look at the per race expenses, much higher, but we don't care. So let's see. We're definitely going to want to bring in Meisner. And then I also want to bring in Zavaleta here. And then we'll see if we want any more after that. Let's see, that's going to give us 16, 13, 12, and 12. Let's assume DeFonte's out. And a matter of fact, with his ratings being what they are, I'm just going to get rid of him now. My patience has expired. So we've got 2 16s, a 15, and a 14. That would be our top group out there. And then we got a 13 and a few 12s. Luxton we wouldn't want out there, but he's mainly... Yeah, so I think we want these 2 13s as well. We're going to hire them also. We're bringing in a whole bunch of people here. And then we are going to say no to Melendez. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna be firing a bunch of people today. But first of all, let's get these new tire people out there. And then I think Szabo is going to be next. Yeah, so that's 16, 16, 15, 14. Then we've got 2 13s, 3 13s, throwing weapon there, and then who's the 12 with the highest stamina? And I think that's Bus here, which means the other ones are going to all go away. Garut, really surprised to get rid of you this soon, but it is what it is. Izzo, say goodbye. And I think that's it. Alright, so we've got 1 extra now. We've got 13 instead of 12, but that's because we want an extra backup on the jacks. Okay, so Fedeschi needs to get back out there. And we're going to put you on the rear jack this time. Alright, there we go. And look at that, 10.35 seconds, and we are all the way up to 5th. So that really made a big jump for us. And all of a sudden, our pit crew is right in line there. And let's just, I want to take a look at, yeah, we're almost up to 2 stars now. We are noticeably growing. Fan base not growing that much. But our reputation definitely on the rise. So our pit crew is now above average for the first time. The HQ is not. The HQ is really the sort of weak point for us right now, along with our drivers. There's our repair and more scouting. And of course we are going back to Tondela where Hughes will have an edge. So yeah, that spoiler, the only thing we can really boost at this moment. I kind of think we just want to stay where we are until we get new parts in. Which our next part is our second improved gearbox, and then we're going to work on more. Matter of fact, what do I want to do next? So we have 2 engines, 1 of each of the other parts. And I think the other ones are fairly even. Like, we could go brakes, we could go spoiler, we could go suspension. We could go with any of those, but I think I'm going to hit the suspension next. Alright, and there it is. There's our gearbox build. So we'll throw that out there, and we want to get this up for the race. And pretty much we need all of them to max it out. We don't want to max it out. We just want to get it to 90%. I'll throw it at 17 for now. And then see how that goes. So both drivers will have a maxed or more or less maxed gearbox. And we've still got a few months left. Pretty much exactly 3 right now. So we're still going to have plenty of time. Let's design, look, we're getting the parts knocked out about as quickly as they're being designed at this point. Let's do another suspension. And we're even going to get that one done before the race. Excellent. We got something important coming in. More scouting arriving. I feel like I'm going bonkers, boss. I can't think straight. I don't know what I'm good or bad at anymore. I'm really finding practice and quali sessions harder these days, and then sometimes I think my racecraft is, well, rubbish. I think I can get on top of this, but what should I concentrate on? That's easy. Races. So we add the personality trait racer, and let's just see what benefit that's going to give him. Bingo. +2 across the board during races only. That is a big boost for him. You add that to Tondela, and he should really have a big race coming up. And also, I mean, that's enough that I may even want to think about keeping him on at the end of the year. Our car parts overall are interesting because we're #1 across the board in everything except for our engine, which we weren't able to improve much this year. You can see it's slowly declining. It's down to 4th. Not that much below the top teams yet, but we're sort of beating them in everything else. Not so much there. Continuing to move up. Of course, we didn't go that many days along. Alright, let's see where we are here. We got a little bit more scouting done. We've got some more reserves. blathering on. They're happy about us being in first. And Jerry Getmighten with our review of Tondela. 39 laps, 3 miles, etc., etc. Favors the gearbox. We know most of that because we were there before, although it's a slightly different version of the track. But let's take a look now. With only 6 days left, we're at 65%. And we wouldn't be able to get there all the way, even if we totally maxed it out. I'm going to bump it down 1 to 16, but I think we want to keep this pretty high. We just don't have a lot to allocate to performance and still get the gearbox where we want it. Alright, now our telemetry center is up. Katja Blomqvist wants more investment in the handling. We need a ride and handling facility so we can improve our suspension and help our drivers drive more smoothly. Well, that would be nice. But I'm still of the mindset that I may be being too conservative here. And, you know, getting this in bumps us up to 9th from 11th. So that's helpful. There's our telemetry center, which we just finished. Pretty darn impressive building there. And of course, again, that's only level 1 on all of these. They're gonna look a lot nicer down the road. But I really want to be conservative, I think, and save as much money as we can. I don't know how much we need for chassis or off-season hiring, so I may regret this, but I'm just going to back off that. And if we find we have extra money next year, I can try to pour it in there and catch up our headquarters. But I'm accepting having a substandard headquarters in order to be sure we have enough money for the off-season. That's the trade-off. Okay, and down to 3 days. I don't think we're improving it that much. I'm gonna go back up to 18. Let's see. Michael Tellman says Hour's not going to make up too much ground. Hughes is driving too well. Hughes says he's not feeling the pressure. And we're predicted to finish around 2nd. So we actually have requirements. We have expectations. And a couple more scouting done. Let me just double check that. Yeah, we don't have anybody in reserve, but we're working on both of these. And Costa in 4 days. You know what? I'm just going to take the time and go ahead and scout more. Now that we've scouted all of our current and expected competition, I think we want to go back to scouting the youths. Or you know what? On second thought, maybe it would be better just to scout all of the drivers that we don't know. Because we might be able to get drivers from other series that would be willing to drive for us if we moved up a level. So that may even be a better idea. So what I've got is all the ages selected. The drivable series is only GT. So if they won't drive in GT, then I'm not going to go after them. But then we can just look down. Like, for example, this is a driver from a totally different series. And same here. I believe those are the Indy cars, the single-seaters. And we're just going to go down and grab whatever drivers are out there that are actually employed but not in our series. So we're just trying to broaden the net here, because we're probably at the point where going after young drivers not as important for us anymore, because they're not going to be, you know, we're not going to be developing drivers for a huge long time. We're going to try to promote up, and then we're going to be looking for people who can succeed now. Okay, so this is all the drivers that are currently employed that we don't see, and there actually isn't a huge amount of them. Like, there's a good amount, but this is actually probably a decent amount for us to go find in the rest of the season, and then maybe partly into the off season. And we should be through a good amount of them before we have to go higher. So I like that approach for the moment. We're up to 80% with 1 day to go. About where we want to be. And there's our new suspension. So we're obviously not going to use it quite yet. You can see we've got one maxed out suspension and another one that's ready to be equal to it. And so next, spoiler or brakes. And I'm going to go with the spoiler. And we may be able to get a maxed out brake too. And if we got that, we're able to max out them all. That would be fantastic. And yeah, you're still at 88%. So I'll go ahead and leave you out there. We're obviously going to want to put that new suspension out. There we go. So we're working on a spoiler, we're working on a gearbox, and we're working on the suspension. The suspension does have quite a bit of improvement yet to do. Spoiler has a good amount, the gearbox has some. We may not actually want to get to that final brake. Like, we may not be able to boost all of these. You can see that these are going to take about 40 days as it is, plus we're going to be doing one more part, and we only have... I don't think we're going to want to spend the money on a final brake. So what we'll probably end up doing is just boosting this one up. But that will come later. Right now it's time for Tondela. And let's definitely adjust our parts. Now, the interesting thing also is with Szabo struggling, it's interesting that he thinks he's got a better car than Hughes, because he has the same quality engine, exactly the same, and he's worse at everything else, a lot worse on the brakes. The gearbox here, you can see these two. Now, I'm actually going to move Szabo up there, but right now he's worse. So he's getting a better... And look at that. Now he doesn't like this, but he liked it before when he had worse one. Okay, and now he's unhappy there. So that's just dumb. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he was stuck at a higher happiness than he should have been. And for some reason, using this to move it around doesn't work as well as the mouse wheel scroll. Don't ask me why. Okay. So we need to make Szabo happier. Let's switch these about. Switch the spoilers about. And he's still not happy. Switch the suspension about. Okay. Now they're both happy, and they're picking Szabo third and Hughes sixth. And so now that we've got that going on, it'll be interesting to see if Szabo actually performs, or if he continues to be a disappointment. My guess is he'll do better in that his parts were just lower, and he wasn't complaining about it because he was stuck, some sort of bug there. That's what I'm going with. We'll see if it actually pans out. So we're gonna be pretty warm here, 33, 29 degrees. We're gonna want to use mediums if we can. High tire wear and medium fuel burn. Alright, so Szabo and Svaneborg. Like the speed where it is. And for a 39 lap race, yeah, I think what we're going to be looking at is one soft and one medium. We'll start the practice off on mediums, of course. Oh my. Looks like it's going to be tough to make her happy. We'll start with that. She's got some pretty extreme requests. But at least she had the right idea with race trim. She comes out first, 5.6, Szabo 7, so we can't complain about anybody's form. More mediums than softs, as it should be. You can see this is the long version of Tondela. It's got everything except for that little loop there. And Szabo wants more understeer. Svaneborg, on the other hand, very happy with how that handling is looking. It's looking like we can get to level 2 trim here, but that's it. See these tires heating up quickly, even though they're mediums. Szabo also wanting more fast speed corners with the ballast. So he's got a couple really specific ideas on how to improve this. Back off on the tires. Meanwhile, Svaneborg very happy and driving well. And Szabo also wants more acceleration, so he's got specific requests for all 3 areas. We will go ahead and come in, but I think I just missed it with Svaneborg. Alright. Szabo not liking his setup at all, but at least he tells us what he wants. Although we can't push this anymore to the high speed, so it's gonna have to be more low speed. More understeer. And more acceleration. So we yank that all the way down. I mean, I'd like to push the cornering down more, but I really can't at this point. So I think I'm going to go with that. And then we'll get Svaneborg in for her adjustments. And of course, since we're only getting to level 2, we should be able to maybe get a start and stop, possibly, at the end of this, and firm up the setup a little more so we don't have any qualifying issues. One would hope. We started well, but other teams surpassing our times. That's the story of the day so far. And Svaneborg didn't say anything because her stuff is just good enough not to complain about it. 87%. So let's boost to about there. We use the same general approach. And we can't drop the acceleration anymore, which is a real issue. So let's assume that we go this way. I mean, she just wants more acceleration than I can. We're going to have to really mess with the tire camber. If I put that all the way over, I can get her down that way. And then let's see if that's better or worse. Yeah, I'm going to try that. I mean, I don't like pushing this far, but it looks like she really wants us to hit the limits of the car here. So Szabo liking the improved weight distribution and driving fantastically at the moment. Let's see if he improves at all on that now 23rd position. driving with slightly worn medium tires. So there's only so much he's going to be able to do. Doesn't like the handling either. Okay. And well off the pace. Which was set on soft tires, but still. Not super happy. Is Svaneborg liking the better cornering? Szabo did improve his time slightly. And now we're both going to come back in. And I'm hoping there's going to be just enough time for us to get a start and stop. There may not be. It doesn't do us any good to hang out there on what we have right now anyway, so we'll give it a whirl. And obviously our time's looking abysmal overall. But Svaneborg looks very well set up now. So Hughes should be happy with that when it comes to qualifying. We went from good to great. So I think a bit more of oversteer. Let's see if we... And I don't want to spend a lot of time in here is the deal. So I can adjust that other stuff later. Let's just see if that's better or not. And Szabo, no. Not happy yet. 65% up to 79. Lots of work to do for him. Alright, one thing at a time. Poor to good. So if we can, we need to get more lower speed. Handling needs to go the other way. And then speed balance is close. I just need to tweak it. So the handling I want to be up around there. And that sort of probably solves these problems. Because that way this can be... about there, and that's a... You know, I'd like to get that a little bit smaller. What if I went... Okay, that takes it the other direction. Okay. I'm just going to come back to here and then just see what that does. And we should have enough time now, minimal time spent in here. We should be able to get a reading on these. So, level 2 mediums, level 2 race trim. And a start and stop here. Well, I'm not going to get all the way around to a stop, but we get partway through the lap. And if we get that third reading, then we'll be able to make some better adjustments tomorrow. Perfect for Svaneborg. Better, but not good yet for Szabo. So he still has work to do. But Jake Hughes is going to have a car that's ready to roll. Overall times, W Racing looking great. Comtoyu getting Suri in third. And DuPont in 5th. They're also looking great. AMG 6th and 11th. So a lot of our competitors looking good. We didn't. We've got work to do. And nothing about us. That's fine with me. More quality weather for qualifying. No sign of rain. Everything's good there. Medium tires, and he also is going to get the light-footed on the soft tires. Might as well use it. Hughes is just going to stick around with that 98%. Szabo, you're going to make adjustments. Up to 93, so we're a lot closer. Poor. Good. Great. I think we just need to push that low speed, or that cornering even lower there. Okay. Poor. From okay to good. So again, we got to push the handling higher, this a little bit lower. And for the speed balance, poor, great, great. I don't know which way to go. Maybe in between them? Maybe a little bit more acceleration? Probably in between them. Okay, so first of all, we want to bump up the oversteer a couple spots. That moves, I mean, that could be it right there. I'm just going to try that to start with. So Szabo, you're out on your start and stop. We have no reason to not believe the later stages will be best for qualifying. But it's not going to kill Hughes to get 2 times in either. See, 2 minutes and change. I'm going to give him about a minute or so, and then I'm going to send him out. Or actually, no, I don't think I want to give him that much time. I think I want to just get him out there. Got another car right with him, but he'll have to try to fight through the traffic. Pretty good form. Alright, let's slow this down a bit. And I want to make sure I don't mess up the tires there, but Szabo, oh, you're almost there. 96%. And the other thing is, time-wise it'd be really close, but I don't think you've got quite enough. I'm going to hold you in, but what adjustments do we need to make? We're great. That was great. That was great. So I think we just want to go... I want to try that. So that's the adjustment I'll make when it's time. Meanwhile, Hughes, you do your thing. There we go. And that may be the only one that he gets. Now that I think about it, he may not have time for 2. So I might have overthought that. Szabo probably wants to go out about 3 minutes. Yeah, Hughes isn't going to have time for 2 laps. Okay. Well, it's better to get a time early than not get a time at all. Szabo's time going in the tank. Let's just ride along with Hughes. 7.4. Not yet. Moving up. A couple tenths off the pace. All right, now we'll try it. And Hughes dead even now overall with the other fastest cars, and nobody's finished a lap yet. There's Huff, and Hughes is ahead of that pace. He's looking good. Trying to get around the inside of another car there. Doesn't quite make it. Still, Hughes with the top time out of like 10 that have finished. And now we got to get Szabo going, who is stuck at the worst possible driving. Ugh. But clearly we're going to have one car near the front of the field. So the question is, can Szabo even be decent? Because there's not a lot of cars out there, a lot of them on their in-lap, which means they're not going to be able to run another one. Szabo will have the advantage of a slightly faster track. The problem is, that's not... He's got to drive better than total dirt, and he's not right now. Let's just see how far off the pace he ends up being. Hughes, but by over half a second ahead of everybody else. So that tells a different story than our practice results. And nobody else is out there right now. Decker's going out, but is not going to... You know, Decker's not going to make it around to the line. So Szabo's the only one. Three-tenths of a second off Hughes' pace. So we finished about a second off. That would be around 4th or 5th. That would still be up near the front. With an absolute rock-bottom driving performance here, I would take... Okay, yeah, now we're up to 0.9. Now maybe he's going to finish down in this area. Be really nice if you could pull, like, say, a top 10 finish out of this. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck on top of yuck. Well, I mean, he just couldn't drive worth a darn. So Szabo again disappointing. Maybe he pulled something out during the race, but that wasn't my fault. I mean, he just screwed that up. And Mortara happy. Awesome qualifying from Hughes, indeed. And it's supposed to be dry, so naturally it's raining to start the race. Okay. So yeah, it's wet. It's going to get wetter. Inter's definitely the tire to choose. And... race trim, and then do I want to go with mediums or soft tires wear more slowly? And I'm going to go with a performance increase on mediums because the temperature fits them better. Then of course race trim and tire changes for Hughes. We did hit it right on Szabo, so he's up to 99%. Can't complain about any of that. We're going to go on inters. Fuel's going to be what it is. And these inters are going to heat up fast. But we're still going to go aggressive with them at the very start. Although... Yeah, I'll just back off faster. Well, we'll see when we have to back off with Szabo. I would like him to move up through the field. So Hughes with a 7 right alongside Mortara. Hamola and Huff. Nobody was super high for him until you get back to Berman. And then Szabo, a 0 in the last row. How lovely. Yeah, we're switching up to Hughes. So Hughes on the pole, giving us those 2 points, and accelerates away from the others at the start. That's fantastic. See if you can hold that lead. Szabo at the very beginning doing nothing, sticking in 23rd. And Mortara challenging a bit. I don't dare back off the tires just yet. Now I'm good. I'm going to move him back down to push. And Szabo down to last. Oh, you go. So he's going to have to get everything that he can out of this. Hughes still seems to be doing fine. I'm going to be ready to switch this up, but I'm going to bring him back down to neutral. He just doesn't need to go aggressive with the tires, it looks like. I mean, we'll see how this works out, but right now, Hughes is like just in command of this. Szabo moving up a spot to 23rd, but now he's going to have to switch down to neutral. And Lucas Auer in last place of all people. We've got some collisions going on back in the field. Wonder if Auer had a wide turn that I didn't notice. And we've got penalties for Decker, for Hamola, and for Nagy. And that's yet another reason just to be happy to be out in front, because you're away from all of that. And, you know, he's out far enough. I'm just going to go back to high on the fuel. I still want to get as much speed as I can, but look at all those cars locking up. I think our temperature, temperature is going to drop, and then the tire wear will improve. But look at Szabo's down there. I've got to back him off to conserve. He has picked up another spot, Pat DuPont, merely in 22nd. See if we can get another spot here on this straight. Yeah, we got some cars coming in there, but I've got to back him off to high now. He's 21st. And now struggling to hold that. Yeah, just... Szabo's got to drive. The bottom line is he's got to not drive absolutely horribly. And we are still gradually pulling away with Hughes. Going to back off to conserve. Yeah, the temperature is still iffy here. So, our Szabo dropping back 23rd behind Auer. Only Nagy behind him. But I just need to conserve the tires and not overcook them here in this early stage. Philippi giving a drive through. Looks like Giovinardi's got a penalty. So that's just going to make all those drivers back off more, but it looks like nobody can compete with Jake Hughes. That's where we are. So by himself, you know, he would extend our lead and take a pretty dominant lead in the points himself. There we go. Giovinardi and Philippi going in. We don't really need it, but I'm just going to take the next lap and do a fuel check with Hughes. Just because he has the... I mean, he's 5 seconds ahead of the field. He has the ability to do that, and that way Szabo can keep pushing. Gets by Oriola up to 19th. Up to a whopping 0.5 form is Szabo, as he continues to fight with many other cars at the back of the pack. Philippi, namely, right behind him at the moment. Almost going 3 wide there. Philippi going by, so he slides back to 20th. And now he's going to try to get that spot. Oh boy, look at that. They just shoved each other up ahead. Yuck. And meanwhile, I missed my timing with Hughes. So let's give him one more lap. But yeah, Szabo in 21st. It's up to 0.8. If he can gradually crawl that stupid form up and actually start doing something, that would be really, really nice. Philippi is going to pay for his little stunt by taking a visit into the pits. And honestly, that's Szabo's best hope right now. That they all keep crashing into each other enough. Hughes locking up. That they just sort of fade away. They have to keep going into the pits, and he can gain time in that respect. Raquelme now being investigated. And Raquelme is going to come in. You're struggling to do lots of things. Okay, so we're at 1.04 with Hughes, and I would surmise that we're going to get the usual 0.04 to 0.05 per lap, but let's just double check it. Szabo now up to 20th. Hughes' lead, meanwhile, up to over 6 seconds. The rain is going to stop later. It looks like we want to get to about lap 20. If we can. I think we'll be close to that if we don't overcook the tires. Yeah, so it looks like we're going to get all of 0.04 out of this. 33 laps. I think I can keep Szabo going on this for a little bit longer. And then I would like to switch him to neutral. I'd like to go neutral on the tires too, but Chris Richard coming in. Szabo up to 2.2 now. Slides ahead of Oriol, at least for the moment. So the question for Szabo is, can he afford to push the tires at all? Can he push the tires up to neutral? Going to get warmer for part of this as he moves up another spot. He's up to 2.7. He's now merely driving badly. There's another pass. So let's switch back to medium here. Prefer not to, but we're going to have to for fuel reasons. Richard coming out, so we're all jacked up here. And he was at 72% to start this lap. I just want to see how far that's going to be able to take him. Like to run him some laps on neutral to pick up some more spots, but I also want to get him to about lap 20 on the inters. Do we really want to get that far, or close to it, maybe around 18? And it drops behind Raquelme there. The rate of crashings appears to have gone down. Yeah, he's only losing 2% a lap here. I think he can afford to go neutral. So we'll put both drivers on that. Back off Hughes, who is not driving as well, but still leads by 7 seconds. So he's just out there enjoying his run. There's really not a whole lot to say there. We want Szabo to make something of himself, if at all possible. Yeah, I think we're just going to stick here for a while. Speed it up. Both drivers driving below par, but going in opposite directions. Szabo basically spotted the field the first few laps, and then also miserable qualifying showing, and yeah, I'm up to 4.2, and now he's trying to make something come of that. Yeah, and I think we're going to be able to have plenty of tire here. The question is, look, for the second half of the race, I think we just switch on a set of mediums and finish it up. Up to 4.6. Got to back off the tires soon, though. Would you like to do something with your current situation? Give him this straightaway to figure it out. Looks like no. So he's kind of stuck behind Chris Richard here. Hughes' lead continues to slowly expand as his form is up, and now Szabo up above 5. Thing is, he can be a very competitive, performer when he's not screwing up all the time. Yep, wrong side of that turn. He's got to try to catch up, but he doesn't actually get any sort of pass there. Meanwhile, the rain's still coming. We are near the end of the wettest part of this. Temperature is going to start to rise soon. Won't be able to spend as much time on neutral, but the other cars will have the same problem. Got alongside there for a second. There we go. Thought for a minute there he's going to get by Martin as well. And Szabo locks up. Should still have enough tire, I think. Yeah. To finish the stint, but that's not going to help. Whoa! Forgot to back off Hughes' tires. Szabo went back down into the fours. He's just gradually losing time with the traffic because he's not fast enough to make a pass. I say as he almost does it. And Hughes' temp's starting to come down, but they're doing slowly. Szabo's driving slacking enough now that he may have lost his window of opportunity. Let's switch up to neutral with him for a bit and see if he can do anything. I think we're pretty close to right on with his fuel, and Hughes has a little bit extra, which is where I'd like to be. Wetness of the track is starting to decline now. And Szabo just not driving well enough to get it done. We'll back off the tires and hope that he can change that situation by the time he can push on him again. Not very long left in this stint. I suppose you can always say, well, yeah, he started off 23rd, he's up to 19th. The reality is he's going to have to drive better than this to make anything happen. Meanwhile, Hughes almost 9 seconds out in front, and he's going to have a short pit stop, of course. So, you know, that appears to be really solid. AMG still with a single point. W rate, like, Ivan Mueller and AMG doing not much at all. We've got W Racing there, who's having a good race. They'd be about even with us. We'd gain on Comptoyu. So we got cars starting to come into pit. That gets him a little bit of space for the time being, but I think it's a little bit early for that. And the ones that are going on softs, I would have to think that they're probably talking about getting a call. Oh yeah, they're all coming in now. And I think it's enough to do it at the end of this lap, but I wouldn't have wanted to do it sooner. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the ones that are coming out on softs are not going to be able to finish the race. They're going to have to come out again after that. So we'll make our changes and see where things last. Maybe we can gain some positions from others having to pit more often. Hughes way ahead and Szabo hilariously up in 6th. That will not last. And just over 6 seconds for that. So actually a little bit faster than I was hoping for. And here comes Szabo into the pits. Just over 11 seconds. And looks like he may just hold on to 16th. Who's that in 17th? Philippi. Softer tires, but more worn tires. And the temperature is high enough that I don't think we want to push. So I'm just going to hope for it here. Hughes, though, with almost a 15-second lead. 14 seconds and change. And he's just going to calmly ride this out. There's really no point in even following him. He's winning this race unless something absolutely horrible happens. The question is Szabo. The other cars, of course, moving up and down within here. That's going to affect our relative competition. Szabo looks like he's going to do well at holding off Philippi. He's got Decker and Martin ahead of him, which probably they're going to go fast enough, at least for a while, that that's not going to be an obstacle. So he should just be able to run solid here, in theory. Well, it looks like he's still catching him. Well, that would be interesting. I don't see any way to go aggressive here. We're going to be going neutral and then backing off to conserve on the tires. So right here is as aggressive as we're going to get. And go ahead and speed it up, because there's not really anything we're going to change here. Szabo's best lap of the race, but yet Philippi right behind and threatening. And I'm trying to keep him on neutral for as long as I can. But I think we've pretty much hit that point. Back off to conserve and hope that you're okay. Losing the spot to Philippi, though, wouldn't even be that big of a crime, because Philippi is probably going to have to come in and pit. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Szabo's form tanking again. Pepe Oriola has crashed. Was in last place, and it's only a local yellow, so that's not going to affect anything, really. And we'll go neutral again, just because Philippi is so close behind. Want to try to hold that off. Looks like Huff is actually gaining a little bit on Hughes right now, but that's not going to be enough to matter. There's a lot of race left, but he should be able to cruise his way there pretty much no matter what. And we'll back off to conserve. Came up right behind Decker, which is a bit of a surprise, but we've still just got too much tire temp there. And it's going to stay a cool 28 the rest of the day. It's going to stay dry the rest of the day. It's going to gradually get faster on the track. Szabo figures to be finishing somewhere in the low teens after all these other cars pit. I just don't see him getting up and getting any points. And that's been his sort of MO. Middle of the pack, a little bit better. And we're paying him more than I want to pay somebody who's just going to finish there with a strong car. So, we'll see, but looking like a bad investment for sure. And I'm even going to speed this up a little bit more just because of how extremely basic the elements are here at the moment. Let's just get through the rest of this. And there's some pitting. Decker's going to come in for soft tires, and we're up to 15th. And we'll go ahead and set Hughes up to neutral. Overall, pretty much maintained the same distance with Huff. More drivers coming in to the pits. And Szabo is 14th. When Martin comes in, he probably moves up to 13th. I don't know that he moves any higher than that. He sure won't if he doesn't start driving better. And that's still 3 spots off of getting any points. Currently, W Racing would be tops in the race, but other than that, we're second, with Hughes accounting for all 27. Szabo's best lap of the race set with a 0.8 form. That about tells you everything you need to know about his day. Giovanardi behind and pressing with slightly worse tires. And we'll back off there now. Hughes with still plenty of room. Has lost almost a second now. Driving not as well. So he's using that big lead of his. And of course after Huff there's another 20 seconds back to Mortara, who started around the front row. Started second behind Hughes. Oh my. That actually really sucks, because that's going to lose Hughes' lead. Do I want Szabo to pit, go on soft tires, and then try to... The question is... Ignore it for now. Do we want to switch to soft tires, though, is the big question. And it kind of depends on what everybody else does. Let's see, Huff. Because if Huff and Mortara don't come in, then I don't want to send Hughes in either. Szabo would shift more towards the back of the pack, but he might be able to do something by burning those tires and move up further than he is now. Or he might lose. But I'm going to view this as a zero risk thing. So yeah, you go ahead and pit. But I'm going to leave Hughes out there unless... At least he's got some fuel to burn. Unless the cars behind him decide to come in. Huff not showing any signs of it. If he's not coming in, then Hughes isn't either. And the other thing we want to do is back off our... Get some more fuel, get some more tire wear available. Morbidelli and Martin coming in. Szabo coming in. Yeah, so he only dropped a few spots and he'll have a shot at doing something. Meanwhile, here's Hughes, now behind the safety car. And what's Huff doing? Still staying out. Mortara. Still staying out. So yeah, I think we stay out too. And now, yeah, Huff is up right behind. Yeah, and the thing is, Suri and Berman are going to catch us, and they've got better tires. This is going to suck. And Hughes is not driving well right now. So everything that was going great for us today just took a big hit. Szabo still at that fantastic 0.0. There's only going to be a few laps left here. So we're going to really want to go aggressive. We are building up a fuel reserve, especially with Hughes. There's going to be 6 laps to go. So I can take that fuel up to about a positive, or down to a negative like 0.24, 0.3, almost 0.3, like 0.27, 0.28, something like that. And that's basically where Szabo is going to be. Alright, here we go. Gonna max it out for both drivers. We're gonna have a lot of tire to burn, and then I've got to watch that fuel, especially Szabo. Szabo's not gonna be able to burn much. Yep, they're coming right up behind Hughes. Szabo up to 18th. '17th. But he doesn't have much fuel to use. And that's about it. He's going to switch back to medium. Now Hughes is holding the top spot, which is big here. He's got lots of fuel. If I can get this up over a second, then I'm going to back off the fuel. Yep, back off to high. And he's picked up his form at the right time. Good for him. Now Szabo is 16th. So overall that pit stop appears to have lost me 2 spots. Still worth the risk, especially if he could get a pass here. And Hughes, you switch to neutral on the tire. Both of them have to now. And he lost a bunch of his lead when he did that. So that was sort of built on his tires. But at the same time, he is still able to drive aggressively for a sizable period here. I'm going to hope that holds off Suri. Jake Hughes is led wire to wire, but is very much in jeopardy now with less than 5 laps to go. Szabo dropping to 17th. And now he's got to go back to conserve on the tires. So he's not getting anywhere. I still think it was worth trying because he wasn't going to get anywhere if he stayed out on the track. He would have had medium tires, and yeah, I don't think that would have been any better. Now Hughes going into the negative on fuel, but still 4 laps to go. He can still keep this up for a bit. Only up a second on Suri, but he's trying to make Suri burn out his tires, so he doesn't have enough left to pass later. And Szabo really should have enough juice left in those. We're just gonna let both of them just burn into the red if we have to. Hughes shouldn't have to, though. Let's go back to conserve. And, okay, Suri having mechanical issues. That's going to help. And I think now we're going back to medium on the fuel. And then we'll switch neutral the rest of the way. Szabo trying to get by Raquelme. Almost does. Just can't get there. He would be there easily if he was not driving literally as bad as it is possible for him to drive. Hughes holding a 1-second lead. Still over Suri. I think he's going to have enough. I'm not sure, though. Suri closing it up here, and there isn't anything left for Hughes' car to give. So now he's just got to try to hold it off. And it's now Morbidelli ahead of Szabo. Pushed from behind by Benani. Who knows if that's going to turn out? Of course it's going to turn out against him. He might get the 1 spot to even it up, though. You can hang on to that inside line going, yeah, there we go, final turn. It's a 17th, and yeah, so it's just a mess there. But Hughes appears to be holding it off. Should have just enough fuel to finish. We got to back off now on Szabo. It's not going to do him any good to push that red all the way up. And so yeah, W Racing even with us. ComToyu just behind. We'll extend our lead significantly over AMG and Ivan Muller. Hughes will now have a dominant lead in the driver's situation, but what on earth are we going to do about Szabo? I think we're going to cry about all the money we're wasting on him. I think that's what we're going to do. Final lap for Jake Hughes. So he overcomes... I'm just going to back him off to conserve for a bit, but he overcomes the issue with having the yellow caution flag. He's still going to stay ahead of Suri, I think. Just want to get those tires down a little bit. There we go. End of the final lap here. Suri's right behind, but we're a few seconds ahead of everybody else, and I don't think he's going to be able to catch us. All right. Well done, Jake Hughes. And then there's this guy. Yuck. Indeed it did. Why do you keep screwing up, Szabo? So we have a bunch of drive-through penalties for crashing. Those all came in early in the race. Suri got the fastest lap bonus, along with finishing second. Jake Hughes grabs another win. We're up to 180 here. And we did extend our lead, but it is still far from secure. We need a couple more races like this out of the last 3 to finish this off. And they're upset about Maxime Martin's car at BRC Racing. Other than that, nothing much. Well, there's not much to say about this. 1.8. That's by far the lowest I think I've seen any driver have for me ever. Wins the race. Overall marketability goes up. Chairman happiness is great. 5.9 for Hughes is actually not even that spectacular. He drove well at the start of the race when it mattered, though, established the lead, and then held off at the end. Szabo, on the other hand, boy, it's too bad firing squads have gone out of style. Just kidding, of course, but painful. Okay, so 3 races to go. We're going to head back to Munich and try to redeem ourselves with a better showing there. And get a little bit closer to locking down this promotion. Still lots of racing to go, and it could still slip away from us if we're not careful. More Motorsport Manager coming up soon as we head back to Germany.